Hey, Mark Rodriguez here. Welcome to America's #1 cure for insomnia, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast. I'm Mark Rodriguez here once again. I am not alone. With me are
William White, a.k.a. Ninja Panda, 1980.
Wendy McBride, also known as Jupi Chan or Ninja Jupi.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez.
There you go. What was the thing? Mr. Electricity, Mr. Excitement that Ricky Rock used to say. So, today we're going to be doing our predictions for AEW Full Gear, the last year review. Well, at least the last AEW pay-per-view. I believe in December we're going to get another one based on Ring of Honor. But, so we're going to do our predictions like we always do, talk about the feuds and all that stuff. And then when we come back after the event has already transpired, we'll compare like what we said with what actually happened. And hey, this time Wendy gets to see it too. So there you go. That's pretty awesome. We'll get a more in-depth, her professional, super in-depth, play-by-play, detailed description of each match, But anyways, here, another thing I want to say, there's not too much news in world wrestling that I can think of, but there are a couple of things that have happened, but they're involved with this pay-per-view, so we'll get there when we get there, because, yeah, a lot of things have changed, but we'll get there, guys. So, first of all, we had this match that was kind of interesting because it couldn't be decided until the end of Rampage, which just ended a couple of minutes, well, actually half an hour ago as of this recording, because the first match we're going to go here, we're going to go down to up on the Wikipedia article because they always go with the main event first, and that's, let's get that last. But Brian Cage versus the winner of either Lance Archer or Ricky Starks for the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament semifinals. And my understanding was that it was supposed to be, I guess, during an episode of Rampage, but Ricky Starks got kind of injured. It got kind of delayed. So that's why now the main event, the big ending will be at at Full Gear. So turns out, thanks to William finding out for us, that Ricky Starks was the one that won the match. So it will be indeed Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. It's a rough weekend, man. He had to fight Lance Archer today on Friday. And then tomorrow, Brian Cage. I would not envy that, No. But I don't know. So, in my opinion, I want to give it to Brian Cage because, damn it, he deserves something. He's just there. I mean, the only title he's ever carried is that weird FTW title that I'm sure is just fucking made up. That fucking Taz probably found out in the back alley or something, or I don't know. I mean, but Brian Cage deserves something, and it could really play into, they could make Ricky Starks look good by kind of saying that, okay, if he hadn't fought Lance Archer the day before, he would have beat, Brian Cage, So it's going to be like a thing where Ricky Starks is, putting all the stops and everything, but he'll probably show some fatigue because the match last night, and, the commentary, they're going to probably repeat a million times, he just wrestled Lance Archer last night, like they always do. Because, us wrestling fans have such short memory spans. You got to remind us every 10 minutes. But, that's a good way to give Brian Cage something and defend Ricky Starks, because you'll always have that kind of thing that, well, if he didn't wrestle, the Murder Hawk monster, the night before, he would have won for sure. So I'm going to go for Brian Cage for that one.
I'm actually going to be the devil's advocate on this one. I'm going to say Ricky Starks is going to win this one. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is high time for Brian Cage to get a title shot, but I don't think it's just yet. I think one more pay-per-view, and then they're going to give it to him. I mean, I know he had that FTW title, which had about as much weight as, the hardcore title in WWE at this point, or worse yet, the 24/7 title. But legitimately, I think they're just going to do one more pay-per-view and just have it so that it's okay, we have a fresh Ricky Starks, we got a fresh Brian Cage. Let's have them beat the hell out of each other and win this fight straight up. So I don't think it's going to be this pay-per-view, but it's going to be the next one. So for now, I got Ricky Starks for the one.
Both of you have very good arguments here. I'm having a hard time deciding myself, but I'm a little indecisive anyway. So I'm gonna have to go with William on this one. I think Starks might win based on what he was saying. Maybe he'll get his shot, but this isn't the time for that shot. And I think I kind of like that.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is quite a match, but I still think Brian Cage might have a bigger shot in this match just because he seems to be more of a big powerhouse versus Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is a good wrestler, but I don't know, like I don't know. It can go either ways because the smarter, agile guy can still beat a bigger guy like Brian Cage. So there's always that scenario. But I don't know if Ricky Starks is like there yet. So I don't know. I think I'll just vote for Brian Cage.
Let's see what happens there. So next here we've got this. It is a Vince McMahon match right here. We got Wardlow versus Samoa Joe versus Powerhouse Hobbs for the three-way at the to get the AEW TNT Championship. The current champ, I believe, is wait, I lost track here. No, it's Wardlow, right? Is Wardlow still the champ? Or did he lose it?
I thought he was still
I think he's still champ.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, Samoa's got the Ring of Honor title or something, right? Because I'm trying to.
Yeah.
That's one thing someone said. AEW just has so many titles I don't keep track of. Then they come in with titles from other companies. Yeah, like Hikaru Shida with 3 or 4 belts from other companies. You know what I mean? So yeah, so Wardlow's the current TNT champion. He's gonna put his title up on the line. Wardlow versus Samoa Joe versus Powerhouse Hobbs. It's a Vince McMahon match. There's gonna be so much slapping meat. You're gonna keep the camera still on. So For this one, this is tough. I don't know. Could go either way. There's a case. I mean, first of all, you kind of want Wardlow to keep the title. Samoa Joe be kind of cool having 2 titles, but I don't know. I mean, it might be time for Powerhouse Hobbs to do something. He's a big factor there. I kind of think he has a bit of an advantage because since Samoa Joe just recently betrayed Wardlow, so they both hate each other. But then Powerhouse, like, he hates both of them, so he could kind of take advantage of them too. So it's kind of like, and he's been doing that too. Like ever since Samoa Joe betrayed Wardlow and everything, Powerhouse is like, oh yeah, you betrayed him, blah blah blah. Well, you know what? I'm still gonna whoop both your asses, So it's like yeah, he doesn't care about like this, betrayal and broken alliance and crap. So he could take advantage of the bad blood between those 2 guys and win. And hey, who knows, man? Powerhouse Hobbs has been kind of making a name of himself. He's been appearing in lots of matches here and there. He's always like, that one big guy in the match and everything. This might be his due. This might be his time to shine. It'd be pretty cool. TNT title on him. I mean, I dig it.
I kind of agree with you there, but also in a sense, you also got to think Samoa Joe's kind of a backstabber. Honestly, I think him and Wardlow would probably double team on Powerhouse Hobbs, and then just out of the blue, Samoa would attack Wardlow. Like he would just straight up attack him and probably get the win and get that title because that's kind of how Samoa Joe has been lately. Like, yeah, he's a powerhouse. He can do things straightforward, but if he sees an advantage, he's gonna take it. So honestly, my opinion, I think Samoa Joe's gonna win it. He's gonna do it in an underhanded way, but he's gonna win the title against Wardlow, and that's gonna be a long-standing feud, especially now with Samoa Joe having the Ring of Honor title. If he had an AEW title under his belt as well, that would make the stakes a bit more sweeter for when Wardlow comes down the line and beats Samoa Joe. So I got Samoa Joe for the win on this one.
As much as I like the idea of Samoa Joe winning based on, due to underhanded tactics, I like the whole Hobbs angle. Like he kind of in between with both. So I'm going to go with Hobbs with this one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I would also vote for Powerhouse Hubs. Not only because I don't think he hasn't really won anything, but he's actually very good, like, heavy, hitter type wrestler. So yeah, it's about time he would actually win this. So yeah, I'm all for Powerhouse Hubs.
There you go. So we have some interesting combinations here. Not so far, no one's been one-sided. So I'm gonna skip ahead this one to some of the others because this is also kind of a big reveal. So, anyways, the next match we have is Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry in a steel cage match. And the way they've been doing it is that since Christian Cage got, I forgot what his injury was, but it was one of those like, real long, kind of half a year type of injuries or whatever. So they're kind of using Luchasaurus as the in between to kind of keep that feud going, so that whenever Christian Cage does get better and he can go to the ring, they could finally like wrap that up. Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. So yeah, Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy in a steel cage match. I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Jungle Boy. I believe he'll outmaneuver him and stuff. I mean, the only other thing is that with steel cage matches, they've always been kind of like no disqualification. There's always like, people can still get in and cheat. So I wouldn't be surprised if Christian Cage got in there to some capacity because, he can't do much. Maybe he'll swing a chair or maybe he'll put in a chair that Luchasaurus can use or something, some kind of cheesy shenanigans. But I still think that Jungle Boy's going to win this one. It's a very like personal fight. It's a very personal, going to go up against Christian Cage. Luchasaurus is in the way. And of course, they've been tag team partners for a while. You betrayed me. How could you? And all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be like a very personal grudge match here. But yeah, I'm going to give it to Jungle Boy and see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one to Jungle Boy as well because over the past couple of weeks, the one or two times I have seen Jungle Boy on TV, he's been a lot darker and a lot edgier lately. Like, he actually, came out and attacked Luchasaurus, which is something that surprised the crap out of me because, well, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but compared to Luchasaurus, I mean, look at him. So, he's ready to fight the gods at this point. So Luchasaurus would probably be nothing at this point. So honestly, I think he's ready to put part of this, revenge arc to an end. And he's actually starting to be more aggressive. The Jungle Boy is starting to become a jungle man. So, frankly, I got Jungle Boy on this one.
Okay. First off, oh my God, I'm loving this whole Jungle Boy Luchasaurus thing. Seriously, the Christian Cage. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I went with Jungle Boy with this one just for all the reasons that you guys have already brought up. He's getting a lot darker. It's like more personal. He's more intense, and I freaking love it. And I love his theme. I mean, come on now. No, but I think it's gonna be Jungle Boy for this one. I mean, he has more like he's just really, really into it, and he has more of a reason to win, in my opinion. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I also agree. I think Jungle Boy all the way. He definitely has grown. He's more confident. He knows what he's doing. He just became an overall much better wrestler over time. I mean, he was always good, but now he's like better. And now that he's a little bit more like on the edge, I kind of like that side of Jungle Boy. So yeah, let's all root for Jungle Boy.
There we go. So that's Jungle. So this one is unanimous. It's all Jungle Boy. So we got a couple of matches here before we go into the reveals because some of them it's kind of hard to bring up without going into the surprises. So I'll kind of say those a bit down the line. So we've got Toni Storm defending the AEW Interims Women's World Championship against Jamie Hayter. And I don't know. I kind of want to... Because, like, Toni Storm, I mean, I think she's good in the ring and everything. And you know how I always feel about short reigns. But I think she's kind of been there enough. I mean, she's been defending her title on and out, like, almost every week now. She's actually defended the title way more times than Thunder Rosa has, you know what I mean? And Jamie Hayter's hot right now. I mean, everyone just loves her. They pop her a lot. They were really hoping they would just go all the way with the whole thing with her, like, turning on Britt Baker. But instead, they kind of softened that and made her like pretend to go against Britt Baker, but no, she was working with her all along and all that kind of crap. But and who knows, later on it might cause more friction. So I want this for the for the story purposes and also because of like going over purposes. Jamie Hayter's incredibly over. like the crowd just pops. I forgot what match we had a couple of weeks ago. It was like, I think it was 4 women, and one of them was Jamie Hayter. And whenever she did anything, the crowd just lost their shit as opposed to everybody else, you know? So it's very clear that he just loved her a lot. And also it's about time she kind of breaks off from Britt Baker and it gives more storyline potential. So I want to give the win to Jamie Hayter. I don't know. I think Tony's still going to win, but I'm going to just go out and say Jamie because I want the friction also that she'll be the AEW champ and not Britt Baker. And, you know, I'm sure at first Britt will kind of like pretend to not care, to do little promos and show off that, you know, kind of like a win for her is like a win for us between her and Reba and all that. But, you know, it's going to bother her. You know, she's going to try to transfer the title. Maybe Baker versus Hayter for the title. Jamie retained. So now Baker's like super pissed. And, you know, we've seen those kind of things. So I want to see that story go. I want to see Jamie breaking away from Britt Baker and start that stuff. And so, yeah, I'm going to give the title. I'm going to give the win to Jamie and see what happens there. And also, let's see what happens. Let's see if Jamie brings more something to the table. Because one of the common things of AEW is that we get so many things with, like, the road to glory. But once we get there, we don't do anything. And I've heard people say that Tony, as good in the ring as she is and as appealing as she is, she doesn't really have much of a personality, though. She's kind of just, you know, kind of Thunder Rosa, same thing. Just, you know, I'll beat anyone. They go to the ring, kick ass, leave. You know, no real, like, gimmick or... Because what is Tony's gimmick when you really get into it? Like, what is her gimmick other than looking kind of, I guess, like a rock fan or something, sort of, kind of? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like... You know, so maybe with Jamie Hayter, we'll get to see a bit more of that because she at least has the backstory and the feud with Baker to kind of work off of to give her some personality and things. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go for Jamie Hayter, see how that goes.
Okay, I gotta totally agree with you on this one. The Jamie Hayter idea does make sense, especially now if you want to get her to stand out on her own and possibly have a really good feud with Britt Baker. It would only make sense for her to win that title. You know, further down the line, Britt gets more aggravated, you know, almost in that sense of why not me? Why don't I have the title? And then she turns on Hayter, which also will turn Jamie Hayter into a face, Baker back into the lovable heel we all know she is. And then the ongoing feud will go on and have Hayter retaining the title. So, yeah, I have to totally agree with you on this one. I got to give Jamie Hayter the win on this one.
I think it was unanimous here so far. I kind of agree with you guys as well. I think it would make more sense if she actually did win, so that way you can, you know, good potential storytelling for further down the line.
Yeah, I also agree. It would be good for Jamie Hayter to win this match, and she's been a big, like, fan favorite for the longest of time, so it would be awesome if she won this match.
Now, my question is, because now I've been, you know, able to watch AEW consistently, but there's been gaps. Have there ever been an interim champion that actually dropped their title to someone else before the person came back? And the thing is, in this case, Thunder Rosa is not just out for a while. She's out like for months and months. I forgot the nature of her injury, but it's another one of those big, you know, half a year type injuries. So, like, it would be crazy to just have Tony somehow retain till infinity until whenever she comes back. So has there been any other interim champs that have dropped the titles here and there before the champ came back? Or have they just done it where the champ just hasn't been out that long, I guess, right? Because I think it's the longest interim thing we've had, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, this one has been quite a while. You know, I don't think I've seen anyone that's pretty much, you know, been gone and for that long from an injury and then just come back and just pick up where they left off or what have you. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I can't think of one.
Now, another thing, what's everyone's general thoughts on interim title? I know a lot of people hate it. A lot of people are saying that, it's a stupid idea. It's like, hey, if you can't compete, well, too bad. Drop the title, fuck off or whatever. Like, I don't know. I mean, I do kind of like it because I like how they always take advantage of it. I always like how there's always like a 4-man or 6-man match or whatever to find out who gets the interim title. It's always a good way to use some of the guys who haven't been on TV for a while and stuff like that. I just don't know about this one because again, Rosa's out for a super long time. So I don't know. Like in cases like those, I guess,
Yeah, they need, if it's going to be a case where a person is going to be like out for 6 months, close to a year, yeah, that title needs to get dropped. Like, they need to completely just drop the title, let it go. I mean, otherwise, I don't really like interim titles. It feels almost like, hey, this isn't the real title, but hey, here's a runner-up title. Here, you guys fight for that one. Yeah. It's like literally everybody's going to war for a second place trophy when that's not what yeah. I mean, you're going for the gold and they're trying to give you the silver. No.
I guess for me, I'm kind of indifferent to it, but I also think, like you guys were saying, like it really just depends on the circumstance of why there's an interim title to begin with. Like you mentioned, like with Thunder Rosa, she's like out like for almost infinity at the moment. Yeah, that's a situation where they should just go on and drop the title. But if it's just going to be like a short-term type thing, it's not really so bad, is it?
Yeah. Because I do like the promise of like when the champ comes back, there's this big match. Can the champ like win his title back and stuff? And that would be cool if they actually did it one time where the interim guy actually beats the champ and keeps it. Wait, wasn't that Moxley's thing? I think. Didn't Moxley have the interim title and then he beat like the guy and he beat it and now he's like the legit champ, wasn't it? My God.
Yeah, I think so.
These things are so like spread out that like I block some of these things out. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if that's good or bad about AEW that wow, they're so forgettable, you know what I mean? But I do know at least in CM Punk's case, because the whole punishment, the whole suspended, the whole we don't know if he's fired or not thing. They just dropped his title like a rock right there. No interim, nothing. Just But anyways, the next match we have here is kind of interesting. I kind of like this idea, and it gave Nyla something to do. We have Jade Cargill defending her stolen AEW TBS Championship title against Nyla Rose because during one match they had, I forgot if it was against Nyla directly or a friend of hers, Nyla stole the fucking belt and ran off with it and has been running around with the belt like on Dark and Dark Elevation and certain episodes of Dynamite and whatever, and actually defending, which is so weird because it's the first time I've ever seen, and I don't know, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong with WCW, WWF, or any other company, but I have never seen someone actually steal a title and defend the title in other matches where they could potentially lose it, even though it's not theirs, But Nyla Rose has actually defended the title on several occasions, even though technically speaking, it's not hers. You know what I mean? But anyways, that starts now. Now it's Jade versus Nyla Rose. And I like the idea because Jade's kind of, unfortunately, boring in a sense that all she's doing is just squash matches or whatever. No real feuds, no real nothing. This gave her something. This gave her a feud. This pissed her off. This got her going against, them and going after Vicky Guerrero and Nyla and all them. And she got the baddies involved. Like, this gave her something, But in the end, though, I don't know. Because Jay's been champ forever, though. I don't know, man. Maybe, like, if I was the booker, I don't know. Because the thing is, if she wins the title, then we just go right back to normal. We just go right back to Jade just squashing bitches, right? But if we go for Nyla Rose, then Nyla Rose be breaking bitches. We want to see them break, not get squashed. So, well, my God, that sounds horrible. But, yeah, let's give it up to Nyla Rose. That'd be kind of cool. Nyla Rose, TBS champ. It'll still give Jade something to do because she'll probably chase after for a while or whatever. And that'd be cool. And people are actually liking Nyla Rose now. She's been doing goofy, silly shit backstage lately and stuff and shenanigans or whatever. So she's been kind of getting people behind her. And some people actually want to see her like be more of a face and not so much of a heel, even though she stole the title, but you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll give it to Nyla Rose because I just see no end in sight if Jade wins. And it also seems like a waste of time that we finally get a story, then she wins anyways, and we're right back where we started with more, squash matches and stuff.
Yeah, I totally gotta agree with you on that one. I do want Nyla Rose to win, simply because of the fact that they basically turned Jade Cargill into a female Goldberg. She just walks in, squash, leaves. Meanwhile, Nyla may have stolen the belt, but the way she's been trolling with it, defending it, like it's legitimately hers, and all this other stuff has been way more entertaining. And it is putting her on, back on the map as far as the AEW roster. It is almost giving her like face-like tendencies as a character. So yeah, it's doing a lot more building and development on her, but also in turn, in Jade's sense, it's giving a more character development on her as well because yeah, she's got a stolen title. Yeah, she's acting out more. She's being more of a character in the factor of the fact that was repetitive, in the fact that she lost this title and not by normal means. But yes, keep it on Nyla Rose. Let her keep trolling because it's fucking fun. I love it. Nyla Rose for the win.
All right, so for me personally, I thought the whole thing with Nyla Rose stealing the title, I thought that was like one of the dumbest things ever. And the fact that she's able to defend it, even though it's technically not hers, and the whole concept's hilarious. But at the same time, as it was mentioned, it's making things interesting. And I didn't think about it before, like you mentioned with Jade, how, like, even, a little bit I know that she is just a female and an actual intimidating female Goldberg, So I think Nyla Rose keeping it would be fun. It'll give Jade something else to do. Like you said, she does a lot of squash matches, and that's never fun to have to constantly see, It's like looking at China. So, you don't want to see that. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting with Nyla Rose if she were to win. And then it makes Jade want to fight even more to get the title back. And as you said, give her more growth, storyline-wise to make her more interesting, too. Besides just being an intimidating figure, they could probably like pick up a car and throw it at you. But that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, this match is going to be very interesting, and I like the fact that Jade Cargill is actually going to fight against Nyla Rose because I feel that's going to actually give Jade a little bit more like how would I say, they're going to really have to level her up. She cannot just be the same person that's just beat people up in a few seconds and then, me, I won the match. Like, no, this is going to be a big challenge because it's Nyla Rose we're talking about. But putting that to the side, I do think that it'd be good for Nyla Rose to win this match. I don't know if Nyla Rose have won any matches lately, but other than the fact of sealing the belt. But yeah, it would be very good for Nyla Rose to win this match. But I do like the idea that Jade Cargill is in this match because I think that's also going to make her a better wrestler in the end, hopefully.
Wait, so you said Nyla Rose?
Okay, so I support the idea of Nyla Rose winning the match, but I also like the idea that Jade is in the match because that's going to force her to push to her limits. It's not going to be a 1, 2, 3, I beat you up and I win match. This is going to be a deep match, She's going to have to really, fight with more techniques or whatever. She has to really fight for real, not the weird gimmick shit that they've been doing lately with her.
Yeah. But Randomness, we're all going for a native beast. So then we have here Chris Jericho El Ocho versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Sammy Guevara, which is kind of weird though, just like no friends, I guess. 4-way match with a Ring of Honor World Championship. And wow. this is a tough one to call because that's another thing. I don't know. But the White Side, Chris Jericho now has this new story where he's like the Ring of Honor champion, and he's going around defeating all the previous Ring of Honor champions, which is kind of cool because some episodes of Dynamite and Rampage had like these other Ring of Honor guys cameo, on the show to show off and all that good stuff. But I'm kind of confused by Sammy Guevara being there because he was never champion, I believe Daniel Bryan was at one time, Claudio was at one time for a short time, I think someone like maybe Bandito, because Bandito was champ, maybe he would have fit in more instead of Sammy, because Sammy's never, I don't know what Sammy's doing there. That's the honest thing for me. I don't know what Sammy's doing there. Daisy could have put another Ring of Honor guy there instead, but, whatever. Put fucking, what's that guy called? Castle? Put Castle in there. Throw some boys around, something like that. But, for what we got here, I don't know. Because the thing is, if Jericho wins, he can keep going. But if he loses, I mean, this might end his little Ring of Honor, storyline he has going right now. I don't know they're ready to end it just yet. I still feel there's probably some other Ring of Honor guys you can still go up against and everything. Maybe at the, I think Final Battles next month. So that'd be kind of cool. Jericho defend the title against someone else or Final Battle, see how that goes. Defend the Ring of Honor title at an actual Ring of Honor pay-per-view. You know what I mean? But I don't know. And it's so weird because, I mean, I guess Daniel Bryan and Claudio, like, they're fine going up against each other because, the whole blood sport or blood, the combat club or whatever, that they kind of have the mentality that, we're friends, but we got to go to each other, against each other. We'll do it anyways, But Sammy versus Jericho, I don't know, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to give it to Jericho because he's a Locho and because I want Jericho to, at the very least, defend his title at an actual Ring of Honor pay-per-view next month. Maybe lose it then or something, But yeah, I'll give it to Jericho for that one. But it's a very tough one to call. It could really go either way for all four of these guys. But I'm going to give it to Jericho because, a little bit of the bubbly,
Yeah, as much as I would like for Claudio to actually win it, because, he had a run with it in Ring of Honor. It'd be nice for him to get it back and try to, resurrect that run from the days of old. I still think Jericho's going to retain it simply due to the fact of, like you said, this pay-per-view coming up, and what better place for him to lose that belt than at a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Not to mention Sammy Guevara being there. To be honest with you, I literally think that's just punishment simply for the fact of all the trash he's been talking backstage about the other wrestlers and causing all the fights. So 9 out of 10, he's going to be the main target of everybody in that match. I mean, the kid's already made out of rubber, so they could just pretty much bounce him around the ring for like 15 to 20 minutes and go, okay, we're tired. Now let's get on to the title match. So as much as I'd love for Claudio to win it, I think it's going to be Chris Jericho on the win. He's probably going to lose it at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Actually, I don't know if you noticed, but when you first mentioned the match, the first thing out of my mouth was Claudio, Claudio, Claudio. But, now that I've just thought about it logically here, personally, like William was saying, I prefer him to win. But when you mentioned that there's going to be a Ring of Honor pay-per-view coming up, it makes a hell of a lot more sense for Jericho to win this. And like you said, lose the title at an actual Ring of Honor event. So even though I wanted Claudio and Danielson to win, Claudio to win all of this, it makes more sense for Jericho too. So I really do think Jericho is going to keep the title and all of that, even though I don't want him to, but it will make more sense for him too. So I'm just going with Jericho based on that, as opposed to what I actually want.
Okay, so I'm going to be the odd man out. I actually want Claudio to win this match just to shake things up, and everybody's gonna be acting like, what the hell? Like, how did this happen? How, the shock value of him actually winning this match. I want that to happen.
So next match we got here, this is kind of like, I mean, I guess it's fun, but, it's the Acclaimed. Does Acclaimed have arrived? Sesame! Yes! Which, by the way, our very own DJF has actually met and had a picture getting scissored by the Acclaimed, and you'll see the picture as I'm speaking here. So yes, he got scissored at a live show. Wow. Anyways, they're gonna go up against Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland for the tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Champion titles. I guess it's kind of end of a rubber match because that was a big match we had before where it was Swerve in Our Glory defending the title against the Acclaimed. And apparently the big surprise was the Acclaimed went over as all hell with the crowd, but yet they lost. And people actually started booing Swerve in Our Glory because they really wanted them to win, So they had a rematch, I forgot if it was either title at the belt or some other like special episode of Dynamite or whatever. And this time the Acclaimed did win it, and now they got the titles. Now they're the new tag team champs. Now everyone's scissoring everyone in the crowd. And so now we got this big match that I guess just ended. And I really do not see any way the Acclaim is going to lose. I really don't see it. I guess it's just a match because they go so well together. They all got crazy moves, and Keith Lee does the big guy that's surprisingly very quick and agile for his size, and of course Swerve is very awesome too. And they got the kind of friction going on where Keith Lee's more of a face, but Swerve is kind of a heel, not afraid to cheat and everything. And the Acclaimed, they got all their moves too. And of course they're rapping and see what kind of stuff they come up with this time. But yeah, I really don't see the Acclaimed losing their titles this soon. They're like super duper, super over. They just had this silly video and that's episode of Dynamite with Billy Gunn there. They had like a Billy Gunn birthday where they gave him like a giant scissor thing, and fans actually gave him drawings and stuff. Like they're over as hell. I don't see them losing. Definitely they're gonna win this one. The only thing I could predict to make it not so predictable, because again, this match is kind of like I think we all know who's gonna win. It's more up to watch it just to enjoy the fun and the flippy shit and whatever. But I think maybe to make it interesting at the end, maybe they'll do a thing where, they're so angry they lost that Swerve attacks Keith Lee, and that's where they finally, break up. Maybe that's something, or even more surprisingly, maybe Keith Lee attacks Swerve. I don't know, you know what I mean? But that's the only thing I could see that could be kind of any kind of surprise of this match, because it's a foregone conclusion that these guys are going to win. So I predict that they're going to win. And then maybe Keith Lee and Swerve will finally break up at the end, like in a fit of anger because we lost. I'm sick of you. You're holding me back, man. And, that kind of mentality. We'll see what happens. Hey, for all we could know, maybe they come real close and they're going to win due to cheating because Swerve is going to, I don't know, hit him with the title belt or some shit. And Keith Lee stops him because he's like, no, man, not like this, man. We're not going to win like this or whatever. And then they lose the match, and then Swerve just attacks them, and we'll have a Keith Lee versus Strickland, feud going forward. Who knows? But yeah, the Acclaim for me, man. I don't really think I don't think they're quite done scissoring just yet,
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. As much as I hate the scissoring, the Acclaim are nuclear hot right now as far as amongst the fans and everybody like that. Not to mention, I've been saying it for a long time, even though Swerve and Keith Lee were a decent tag team, they are way better. You've known both their histories. They are way, way better and have much more of a spotlight as singles wrestlers. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. The Acclaim's going to keep it. I got a feeling Swerve's going to try to do something dirty. Keith is going to stop him. And that's going to end up being a brawl. That's going to be what splits those two up. So, yeah, the Acclaim for the win. And this is going to be the night that Keith Lee and Swerve pretty much swerve out of each other's way and call it quits.
I got to say, if the Acclaim goes to Steel City Con, I'm going to get some shirts for Johnny and for Wendy. and we're gonna get in the picture. We're gonna be all done and everything. So get ready for that one.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I can't. I can't. Yeah, I have to. I already said that I would, but anyway, I'm sorry. The claim going to keep it. I mean, it makes sense for them to. Like you said, they're stupidly over. I mean, I'm sorry. My mind is still blown over the whole gimmick. Okay, coming into that, it's like, why I need an adult? You know, I felt every time it's really good. But I'm sorry, that whole scissoring nonsense. It's just, yeah, like you said, they're not done scissoring yet. I don't know how they can scissor for so long. I mean, without getting tired, but apparently they're good with it. So yeah, I think the Claim's gonna keep it, and I think I like the whole thing, the whole angle, like maybe like the swerve they actually go break up because of this loss, and then they create another interesting storyline based on that, which will make them rivals against one another. So I think that'd be pretty cool. But still, all that scissoring crap.
But I
Or
gotta
the
say,
model
though,
that
this
they
is
could use
weird.
is it took some scissors to cut a tag team in half.
Oh God. But I gotta say though, it is kind of weird though, because sometimes it's like that's all you need. It's just like the proper catchphrase or whatever. Because like no one liked the Acclaim. They were lame. They were annoying. I don't care. I still don't like the listen. I still don't like that. But they started doing the scissoring. Everyone loves them now. It's kind of like once Hangman said the cowboy shit, that's stuck now. So cowboy shit. So you just need the correct catchphrase or the correct, hand motion or something, and you're over.
And this is something I know slightly off topic, but I just wonder this. There are kids that go to these shows, right? How many of them are going to school talking about scissoring?
And
Think about that.
wearing the shirts, wearing the Scissor Me Daddy ass shirts. Well, obviously
Yeah.
not at school, but I mean like in the
No, I mean like if they're actually at school. But I'm just thinking about my younger cousin, the one that was here when I was talking to you, my cousin Kevin and his younger brother. Because at the time, DX was a thing, and Billy Gunn, they were in it at that time too. And I mean, I had a recording of them both talking about, we got 2 words for you, suck it. And they would used to do all of that stuff, right? And they were like still elementary school age at that time. And I'm just wondering because they said they used to do that with their friends in school. So I'm thinking about these kids now going to school talking about scissoring.
I want to see like them, stereotypical super old folk teacher, doing whatever, old folk guy, and you just hear the playground, yeah, Clean has arrived. He's like, whatever, scissor me, daddy ass.
Like, what
like. Oh man.
I'm sorry. It just popped in my head just now because I was just thinking about my cousins from back then.
And of
how
course,
they were
if it's 2 girls doing it.
Oh man, there's 2 girls doing it. Okay, that's even worse. Okay, you know what? I'm done. I quit.
If it's 2 old ladies, is it considered a pair of rusty scissors?
Well, if you do that, you have to get your shots, I'm sure. Think. They're gonna win this match.
Hey, without Ricky here, we try to keep it clean, but thanks to the Acclaimed,
We all need adults.
They've left us unsupervised. This is not good.
All right, guys. So for this match, I'm going to have to agree with you guys. As much as they're corny as fuck with all the rapping and the scissoring and all the gimmicks that they do, they're actually a good team. I mean, putting that to the side, they're actually a good team. And I think they're going to win this match.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, they would boo the fucking house down. Like the crowd would just like drop all their energy
But I do,
if they
but I
lost.
do think the whole Max Caster rapping is pretty corny.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to some of the surprises because most of these have surprise people in them. So the first big surprise is that we had this. So I forgot the actual match. I forgot it was a women's match. I kind of forgot. I kind of think that was probably the one that had Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter. I think Hikaru Shida and Riho in it or something. I kind of kind of blanked on there. But the thing is, the big shocker was out of nowhere. Saraya showed up, which of course formerly known as Paige. For people that are fans of Paige, like Johnny and I are, of course, Saraya is her real name. And so yeah, so she came back. She appeared. She was on TV for a couple of weeks. It wasn't very clear at first, like, okay, like, is she going to be there, to be another backstage, like, helper or manager or what is her role? Or is she actually going to get into the ring? And it's been very mum about it, They've been doing these things where Renee Paquette, which is also formerly known as Renee Young, has been on TV, like, interviewing both Saraya and Britt Baker about it and stuff. And they kept like doing these delays or I'll find out next week. I still got to get checked up because it was like the whole thing about is Saraya actually cleared to wrestle. And of course, most of us knew already. I think there was a couple of episodes way back when we were talking with Jack Knives. I think Jack Knives, I forgot either Jack Knives or William, one of you two mentioned that for all intents and purposes, Saraya was cleared for wrestling a couple of months ago. It's just, it's a matter of WWE never letting her actually do it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like she was cleared. They just never let her go, So last week or so, I think it was last week, they did a big promo. I like the little fake out where Saraya's like, so I got checked up, I went to the final doctor and got checked out and everything. And unfortunately, everyone starts to kind of like or booing because, that means she's not whatever. And she's like, unfortunately for you, to Britt Baker, that is, I am cleared for wrestling, So they go back and forth between, Britt Baker insulting Saraya that she's not a star. I like the part about like this isn't your house. You left someone else's house and came walking into mine and all that kind of stuff. That was a good line. And Saraya also went into the stuff she went through and that you're not a superstar. You're not even a star and all that. So it's like a lot of, back and forth and everything. And Britt Baker actually tried to attack Saraya, but Saraya actually grabbed her, picked her up and fucking face planted her. That shows that, yeah, she's got some moves. She's got the moves, yo, and everything. So we'll see what's going on. So yes, this would be a big match. It'd be Saraya versus Britt Baker, DMD, or, DMD. It's kind of, I guess, I don't know if it's a real blood feud, but they hate each other, so it's a good feud. And it's one thing I've been saying for a while, we need more actual feuds for the women, not just chasing the title, I do like the personal Nyla versus Jade thing, but Tony versus Hayter is just basically Hayter challenging Tony for the title and, but this, I like this. I like Saraya versus Baker. I like that Baker has enough charisma and she could start feuds with other people. We need more matches like this. This pay-per-view actually has 3 women's matches, and I would like others in the future to have more matches like that, like defend the titles, but have more feuds, more personal feuds and things so that we could have more women matches, in these events. And of course, how this is. They might have an extra match or two announced last minute for the 0 hour or whatever. We don't know. So we'll see what happens there. But so far, we got 3 women's matches. So anyway, for my thoughts here, it's got to be Saraya. It's got to be Saraya. It's her big comeback match. Britt Baker, she's done to lose. She's been champ. She's over a spot. If she loses, she'll just keep coming back and insulting her and coming at her again. So as long as she has anything to lose. For Saraya, this is like her big match. It's super epic. Please, for the love of everything, Britt Baker, no stiff kicks to the back of the neck. Please, But we're going to see what happens. Saraya herself has mentioned on social media she's extremely nervous and everything and kind of conscious because she knows that she's going to be looked at under a microscope for this match. This could be either the best match of all time for her or the worst match ever. And the whole, why is she even come out of retirement? Then she'll just fucking say, that kind of mentality, the fan base, they might, come at her with that. Like, dude, just stay retired or whatever. So A lot of pressure on her to perform and do good, no botches or whatever. But I want to go to Saraya because it just makes sense. It is like the big comeback match. Saraya should win. Let's see what happens. I mean, if worst comes to worst, if Baker wins, maybe it'll lead to more matches. But this is like the big one, like her first, since the WWE for a good couple years now. It has to be Saraya for now. They can keep the feud going. But I'm saying it has to be Saraya for now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. This is Soraya's first match back in years. Worse yet, in a new wrestling federation that she's getting a huge pop for, and she just got cleared. Yeah, they might as well just go ahead and give her a plot armor the size of the little brother from Full Metal Alchemist. There is no way she's going to lose this match. And also, that would set up another part of the story with the whole Jamie Hayter thing, because of the simple fact of, all right, Britt's on the losing end now. She's already feeling bad. Her friend Jamie Hayter becomes the winner. That brings up a lot more jealousy, ends up causing a feud between those two, with Saraya in the middle kind of poking around being a troll every now and then. So that's the way I feel that this is going to work out. But honestly, yeah, Saraya's pretty much got the invincible plot armor on her side. There's no way she's going to lose it.
One thing I do want to say first before you guys go on, I just want to say, what do you think of Saraya's return? Like, it would have made more sense a couple of months ago before, Vince got the boot. But now that he left and they're under new management, and apparently WWE is better now, apparently, allegedly. But what do you think of Paige or Saraya just flat out like, okay, that's nice. I'm going to go to AEW anyway. And what do you think of that? Like how she still chose to go there and not come back or whatever.
Well, I mean, sometimes some people just have bad memories of their former job. Like, the phone company that I worked at, they could have new management and a pay raise all day long. You couldn't get me to step my foot back in there because of what happened in the past. I couldn't deal with it. So, maybe that's the angle that Soraya's at. She's just like, yeah, there's new management or what have you, but, I'm here at this place. Let's try this with some new faces, new locker room, new management, and see how this works out.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I mean, the other job I got, like, when I first got back home, well, I got bullied out of it. So to the point where it just wasn't good for me, and you couldn't really pay me to go back, even with the new manager. Well, if the bullies aren't there, maybe. But because I got along with management, so I got along very well with management. But the more management try to get on that the bully, the worse it was for me. And I was like, you know what, I can't handle this anymore. I'm out. I'm not getting into details, but yeah, I can see that. Maybe she just had a very bad experience just being with, WWE. And Sasha Banks is still there. So, And I'm thinking along the lines of that. Like I said, the bully is still at the other place. I wouldn't want to work there. And, maybe Sasha Banks being in WWE, still being there. Maybe she doesn't want to go back.
That, and, let's face it, injured wrestlers, especially with as bad of an injury as she had, even if she was cleared to wrestle, even if she was 100% at her best, I have a bad feeling that WWE would like babysit and coddle her to the point that they wouldn't even use her as a wrestler. They'd probably keep her on as like commentary or something of that nature. And that's not something she wants to do. That's not something she wants to stick with. That's what they were going to try to do Sting after he got hurt. They were going to try to stick him on commentary. But, at least in this aspect and at least in this format, if something happens, she's able to go out on her own terms, on the way she wanted to go out. So, yeah, as much as, people would go and lose their minds if she went back to WWE right now and went back as Paige, I wouldn't recommend it. She needs to be right where she is right now doing what she wants to do, flat out.
And not only that, but Paige wouldn't do anything. She'll just get, buried by Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. So
Oh yeah. I'm sick of all of them. I got sick of all of them. So especially Charlotte. Good lord.
Oh, we haven't seen Charlotte in a while.
And I mean, just in general, since I was sick of her in general, because. But then again, that just being biased. I never really liked her too much.
Yeah, it has to be Saraya. I think it has to be her. She has to win this match because I mean, this is such a big moment for her, and her coming back to the wrestling world, and it's kind of like it's almost like she has to start over. She has to prove to these guys that she's still got what it takes to be, champion and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, she has to win this match. This is her moment. And because Britt Baker, we already know we already knows how she fights and all that kind of stuff. But let's give this title to Saraya.
Well, it's just a match. It's not a title match. Just a match in
Well,
general.
you know what I mean. Let Saraya win this match.
Yeah. And to tell you the truth, I know most people would probably moan and groan about it there, but for me, like, this is the reason I'm watching the show. This is the match I really care the most out of any other match, depending the titles or whatever. This is what I want to see. This is, for me, this is like the Saraya comeback match pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, I didn't give my opinion.
Yeah, it's actually
Saraya. I think Saraya's gonna win.
This is actually going to be a 2-for-1 pay-per-view for me because I wanted to see Saraya back, and I also wanted to see Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy with no screw-ups, no weird squashes or anything like that. Because you remember what happened last time when that happened? Smoking was not cool. So, yeah, this is going to be a decent pay-per-view so far. We haven't even finished the whole thing yet.
Here we go. So now for more surprises, this one might cause some people to moan and groan though. Let me find it. Oh, we got a tag match. We got the return of Sting. He's been kind of injured for a while, I believe, or out of it for a while. Was he injured? I don't know. But Sting's been out for a while, so Sting's back in action. Sting and Darby Allin going up against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. And a lot of people moan and complain about Jeff Jarrett coming back, good old Double J. Of course, the last time we saw those two tag team were in, Ric Flair's super duper epic final match. But this is a tough one because it could go either way. I mean, you have the feel good moment of Sting making his return and Darby Allin, and we already know that Darby's like a big sponge for damage or whatever. He always gets up no matter what. But I don't know. I want to kind of give it to Jeff Jarrett because he's the new guy. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, because of course Jay Lethal got, skills, and of course he's got this whole heel momentum going. And he also got that big tall dude cheating in the background that I'm surprised. I'm assuming he's gonna get involved in one way or another. So he's got a little cheater squad there. So I'm gonna give it to Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, as much as I don't really want them to win. But I got a feeling this is gonna be kind of like the heels match, like the heels win this one to kind of maybe keep the feud going with Sting and Darby Allin. But just so random how Jeff Jarrett just came out of nowhere, no real reason. Like I don't know, but he's back, for better or for worse.
Yeah, it's kind of like what he does in every wrestling federation. He just pops up out of nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to see Sting and Darby Allin actually win this thing because I don't want to see a TNA Part 2. I don't need that in my life. Like, that was just... That rivalry between those two and TNA was an absolute shit show. It was just a horrifying shit show. Even if it's going to be a running deal, let the opponents switch over. Let, Lethal deal with Sting and Darby have to deal with Jarrett or something of that matter. But don't just let Jarrett and Sting just linger back and forth. It's just not going to be fun. But I want to give it to Darby Allin and Sting, but I have a bad feeling it's going to be Jarrett and Lethal, because they have to keep this thing running for a little while.
I was gonna say Jared. I want to say Team Jared. I don't have experience with TNA like you guys do, so I don't really know so much about it. But I went with what Jared said because one, he did just show up out of nowhere, and two, he's like you said, like the newer person in there. So I really think Jared and what's his face going to win just based on that alone. I have nothing else to contribute to this one.
Yeah, this is quite a tricky match, but I don't know. I'm still gonna stick to my guns, and I still want Sting and Darby Allin to win this match. And Jared, I just don't like him just the way he acted like in that Ric Flair match, like he's just like, ugh. So yeah, definitely I wouldn't mind Sting and Darby winning this match.
It'll be a more interesting win, I think, but I feel, just based on what you can tell me what you were saying, you guys were saying, but I really do think Jared is gonna win this one. They're gonna win. But it would be interesting if it turns out that Sting and Darby wins.
So now we got the one of the big matches that has one hell of a big surprise. And so for the 6-man tag team match for the AEW World Title, World Trio Championships, the current champion, of course, El Triángulo de la Muerte, with Pac, Penta, Cero, Miedo, and Rey Phoenix, or Phoenix, going up against the big surprising, or I don't know, depending on whoever you ask, is surprising, not surprising, but the big return of the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Dumb Fucks, whatever, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson. And what can I say? Not much story there. They were just recently announced. Everyone's been kind of expecting for the last couple of weeks that they're like, oh, this episode where the Elite are going to come back. This is the one they're going to come back. Oh, they're going to come back in this one. And then finally, in the last episode of Dynamite, we've got like Death Triangle. They defeated, I forgot who, they beat some guys, and they grabbed like a mic, and we're kind of like, yeah, we're tired of all the assumptions and whatever. You know who you are. You know who we want. And they show like the title card of like the Death Triangle, and then smoke. And when the smoke clears, it's the Elite and everything. And I'm sure there is a lot of questions. People are still very sour over the whole Elite and CM Punk thing. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of controversy and stuff between like, oh, how come the Elite is still here? How come he didn't get fired or whatever? Why is CM Punk not back, huh? Oh, never mind that he's still seriously injured. But yeah. So what can I say? Unfortunately, I love the Death Triangle. I love the Triangle de la Muerte. But yeah, it's going to be the fucking Elite. It's them. The title was spaced for them. In fact, they won it before this whole shit started, and they dropped it the very next day, thanks to the media scrum, because, they went backstage, they attacked CM Punk or whatever, after CM Punk said all the stuff that, well, it's true. He said nothing but the truth about them. But, yeah, so, they won them, they lost them in a day, or not even a day, within hours, right? But here, I think they're going to actually win it and get like a good title run. I don't see them losing. Not only that, but remember that Kenny Omega was seriously injured for a good while. He came back. So people feel that he came back maybe too soon. This might be him coming back. I don't know about 100%, but maybe more at his maybe 85 to 90% as opposed to how it was before. So, yeah, I don't see any way the Elite's going to lose. And people might be pissed here and there, whether you're for Team Elite or Team CM Punk or whatever, but they're going to rock the house. They're always going to fucking just blow up and lose their minds when they step up, when the music starts hitting, and especially when they win the titles. So, yeah, the Elite, guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know what? I'm putting my tinfoil helmet on this one. I think the whole scrum was probably a big conspiracy theory, to be brutally honest with you. I think they all sat in a room and went, hey, guys, we're all busted up. We're all injured. We need a break. Punk, you go ahead and make up this scrum. We'll say we got into a fight. That way we get a big suspension. You get out of your contract because I know you're tired, you're done, you just don't want to tell anybody. And everybody just kind of takes a break and heals up. Because I found it kind of odd that, yeah, CM Punk wasn't fully healed from his foot. Then you've got Kenny Omega, who had a bad shoulder. And then you've got, the two guys, one has a bad knee, one also had a messed up shoulder at the time. So, I mean, they all needed time off to heal. And it's kind of funny. This fight breaks out and here they are about to come back pretty much refreshed. But
yeah, not to mention the fact that CM Punk, he tore something or something. He was so fucked up that even if this shit never happened, he still had to drop the title anyway. Like for
he tore his tricep. Same thing that Christian Cage tore. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the Elite's back, and that's pretty much who the winners are going to be. If they would have left out a little bit longer, that would have been the time for like an interim three-way title and to have like a big gauntlet for that. That would be a good way to put in some new wrestlers, maybe even some wrestlers from Ring of Honor, and put them in three-way teams and have them work in a tournament for that matter. But I digress. It's going to be the Elite.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of scared though. Well, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that there isn't a title on the line between Saraya and Britt, because I don't want like Saraya to win the title, get injured, and then next week another three-way match for the interim women's, like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like every time there's a new champ, they get injured, and now we got another five-way thing or a three-week tournament for the interim. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's like the titles are cursed. It's weird. Like, anytime somebody gets it, they get injured.
Ain't it like the NFL curse with the Madden games?
Oh, the Madden cover, yeah.
Okay, so I think I want to play devil's advocate here. That's triangle. I just want them. I want them to win. I just want them to win. I just really want them to win. I don't want the Elite to win. I want them to win, and that's the only thing I'm going on. That's my only reasoning. I have no reason for it. I just want it. That's it. The Elite can go jump off a cliff. Okay, Johnny.
Well, except for Kenny.
Well, okay.
Kenny's cool.
Okay, so I do have to admit that conspiracy theory sounds very interesting.
I like it.
And it sounds very good. It sounds like it kind of makes sense because, hey, controversy sells, okay? People talk more about CM Punk when he's not in the business anymore. It's like what they say, you're more famous when you're, I don't know, dead than alive. I'm not that I'm saying Punk is dead, but, he's not,
His wrestling career is dead.
Like Van Gogh. He became more famous in death than he ever was when he was alive, and he died pretty much penniless. Kind of, sort of, but yeah.
Wasn't also like Edgar Allan Poe, like his poems get like more notoriety and more after he died and stuff?
Yeah, and yes, and it's for where I live and where I am from. Yes, we always had to learn about him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, despite the very interesting conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff, I actually want to be the contrarian, and I'm sorry I have to be biased, but I got to support the Death Triangle, okay? The triangle.
So in other words, it's Super Kick Party versus Cero Miedo, right?
Yep. Not only that, but Young Bucks, come on. It's always the same shit all the time. They always do the same flippy shit in all their matches.
You're starting to sound like a certain somebody who wears glasses, who's slightly older, that likes the old school ways of wrestling.
Okay. Sorry. Allergies,
See,
man.
I mentioned no names.
So anyways,
I-
guys, the big main event here, which is kind of interesting, and we'll see how this goes. This is John Moxley versus MJF, who's better than all of you, and you all know it. And this is basically MJF cashing in his chip that he won at the casino ladder match, the casino battle royale match at it was the last year, wasn't it? Where he just showed up as the Joker with his devil mask on. He got the chip and everything. They've been doing this kind of back and forth with almost every episode that John Moxley is fighting against whoever. The camera keeps panning like 10,000 times at MJF and at the crowd and the bleachers somewhere, because at any moment he can cash that chip. But it's kind of weird because it was never really like that. Like before, the chip was just like, it just means you'll have a match in the future with the champ. Now it became kind of like, I guess, Money in the Bank sort of, where you could just cash in that chip whenever. And but to be honest, though, it kind of makes more sense cash in the chip as opposed to cash in a briefcase, But anyways, what can I say?
I'm sorry. I just have, I never thought about that till you mentioned that. The briefcase. That sounds shadier than cashing in a chip. I would say, but seeing as how it was probably a certain someone's idea,
Not to mention, think about what company it's with.
Yeah, and it was apparently some good shit. So,
Some shady shit.
Shady shit. And he is a shady person. I can think of. I'm not going there. Okay, what were you saying?
So, anyways, MJF also had this new group named The Firm, with one of them being I forgot what his name is here, but he's Mr. And you can't teach that, he's in there. But Big Cass. I just forgot what his name is here for the moment in AEW. But they've been doing heel tactics, and MJF's been kind of acting like not quite face yet, but kind of like he wants to cheat, but not to that extent of calling the goons or whatever. And William Regal got in his face and started talking all these things, lots of back and forth promos, and how like we're gonna be a heel the real way, and a whole bunch of back and forth and stuff. So William Regal really got involved with that one. And in the end, MJF decided to cash in the chip now, and rather than, do it, how it is, some match where John Moxley's exhausted, he barely just won, now he'll cash in the chip or whatever. Like, no, he wants to cash it in now and beat him like legit in the actual match here, in the actual pay-per-view. And he also like went against the Firm. He actually knocked them fuckers out, and he fired, I forgot the guy who was like the I guess the little leader for them. He fired him and stuff like that. So now MJF wants to go one-on-one. I mean, I'm sure there'll still be some cheating involved, still MJF, but we'll see what happens. So I do want to say interesting theory that Mr. DJF brought up earlier, because a lot of the stuff has been going with the whole, the devil, MJF is the devil, and, the greatest trick the devil's ever played is to convince the world they just exist and all that stuff. But he's saying like, okay, so what if in the end, after all this talk, the devil isn't so much MJF, but William Regal? What if in the end, whenever Moxie's about to win or whatever, Regal actually turns on him and does X, Y, Z, and now MJF wins, and maybe he's with MJF now. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But it's kind of weird, though. I mean, it's interesting an idea, but Regal, if he does that, though, wouldn't that like discard the disband the Combat Club, or like kicking Moxley out and putting MJF in? I don't see that either. But I mean, like I said, it's an interesting theory. I just don't know how it would work, because I don't think they're ready to get rid of the Combat Club yet. But for this one, I do have to give it to MJF. This is it. This is his moment. This is like they say, pull the ripcord, do it now, cash it in. This is the time for him to finally be the AEW World Champ. I don't know any better time than this, and it'll like all the heat he has will just simmer down if he loses, and we gotta wait for yet another pay-per-view or whatever. I think this is it. Either fair or cheating or Regal helps him or whatever. This is it. MJF's going to win. some way, somehow.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. But here's my theory, and it steers a little bit different from where DJF's went. Now, I have a feeling that, believe it or not, MJF actually fights Moxley fair and square because they're both really rough fighters to the point that his stuff is almost dirty. MJF does do some dirty tactics, but he can fight stiff enough that he could go toe-to-toe with Moxley. I have a feeling he wins against Moxley, and Moxley actually shows him respect and goes to shake his hand, and that's when William Regal backstabs him for trying to shake his hand and congratulate him. He's like, hey, don't deal with this ruffian, and probably beats the tar out of him and kicks him out of the Blackpool Fight Club. I think that's probably what happens. I think he wins, MJF wins, Moxley goes to congratulate him, and then Regal gets pissed. But either way, slowly but surely, you're starting to see more of a, I wouldn't really say a face, but more of an anti-hero style character coming out of MJF, almost in a Ric Flair type of way where it's like, yeah, he does some dirty-handed stuff, but you can still tell in the end he's kind of the good guy character. So I think that's what that's all building up to. But yeah, MJF is definitely going to win this one.
I'm going to have to agree. I believe that MJF is going to win this match, mainly because of how the setup has been so far and the build up to all of this. So I do think he's going to win, and slight bias, and I'm kind of sick of Moxley. I mean, for personal bias, I'm sick of Moxley, but from a story point perspective, it would make sense for MJF to win it. So yeah, so MJF gets my vote, and I really like MJF, and I like his scarf. All right, and I send it over to Johnny Rodriguez.
All right, so I'm gonna agree with all you guys. I think MJF for the win. And yeah, I don't know. It's like Moxley is just, I don't know. I just never found any appeal with Moxley, but MJF, he's a cocky bastard, whatever. But the thing is, he actually fights really good, though. He's a very good, talented wrestler, and he has a lot of on-stage charisma. So he has all the things in his favor. So I actually see somebody more like MJF winning this match compared to Jon Moxley. And I think most of the fans, in a certain way, yes, there are people that are fans of Jon Moxley, but there's still a huge amount of fans for MJF. So I think MJF for the win.
And what I want to say is it's kind of too bad that regardless of the scrum being real or not, with CM Punk, is that since he's injured for like a good, half a year or something, I don't know. That would have been the perfect chance for CM Punk to make a random appearance at the very end after MJF wins. Because remember, that feud's kind of sort of still there, So after MJF wins and all stuff happens, whether or not Regal, whatever, CM Punk just shows up at the end and, kind of makes a face or kind of like, we're going to settle this. And of course, that'll give him another couple extra months for the next pay-per-view to do it. But that would be interesting, though. And that will shut up all the people because, again, there's going to be a lot of people arguing on the interwebs about, like, why is the Elite here? Why not Punk? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to have the whole Punk versus thing. But that'd be interesting, though, if Punk shows up at the very end, just a little cameo, just kind of, yo, what's up? That title's mine, that kind of thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I also kind of think it's funny, though, because of the scrum and all the attention that it caused, like, personally, it kind of took MJF out of the spotlight because if you really think about it, every wrestling media that was talking about it was just like, media scrum everywhere. There's an elite fight in the back room, chaos everywhere. And, MJF showed up in the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, he was like a second thought, at the very bottom of it. So it kind of stole the spotlight from him. But yeah, this is going to be definitely a redeeming match. So I think MJF's going to win.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it kind of wraps it up for now. I don't know if there's any other, like I said, I haven't really heard besides stuff like, Jeff Jarrett, Saraya, the leader back. I haven't really heard anything too much about the other companies or, people getting fired, laid off, injured, drama, Vince McMahon coming on back with the strut, or nothing. I haven't seen that, which I still want to see. I forgot who was the person I said I wanted to see do that? Was it Ricky? Either Ricky or Knives, someone. I forgot who it was, but I want to see one of y'all with a suit, all dressed all nice, doing, Poke. Poke. Yeah, I want to see Poke with a suit and everything just coming on down, over-exaggerate, the McMahon strut. I would just laugh my fucking ass off. They got to record that. Get his girl to film that and put that as part of the opening for the Poke, Galaxy Wrestling. That'd be, and if you've seen Poke, you met Poke, Johnny. So you can imagine Poke, doing the thing. And plays no chance in hell, and all that. He's walking down. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man. But yeah, any parting words, guys? Any other things y'all want to say? This event is, of course, Saturday night instead of Sunday night, so we do have to edit this. So hopefully, let's hope and pray that you guys listening to this podcast sometime before the event starts. I'll do my best, But any parting words, amigos?
Oh, I really didn't have anything. I mean, so far this seems like it's going to be a good card. Again, finally a match that I've been waiting for a while is going to happen. Returning wrestler who I never really thought would return, is actually brave enough to step back into the ring. And
yeah, I mean, I miss Jeff Jarrett, man.
And hey, we got MJF back, so far so good.
Wait. I want to go back to the first match on the card. It was Cage versus, what was it?
Cage versus Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks.
It was? I want to change my prediction to Cage.
All right, so last minute change to Cage.
Why?
I don't want to give a reason for that. What? I don't want to give a reason. I meant to say it earlier, but I didn't get a chance to.
Okay.
All right. Any final comments or thoughts, Johnny?
It sounds like a very good pay-per-view, and hopefully the matches won't be rushed up or whatever that was in that previous pay-per-view, where some matches were really good and then others they were like cut really short. So hopefully they won't do that this time around, because other than that, all the titles, all the matches, they sound really good. Like, I actually want to watch each one of these matches. None of these matches sound boring in the slightest. So I'm really looking forward watching the whole pay-per-view and drinking a lot of caffeine so that I don't sleep in the middle of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy some energy drinks tomorrow, and also I'm gonna get obviously the commercials for the what do you call it, the Detroit style Caesar's Pizza. I'm gonna get me some of that. I'm trying to order that like a good half hour before, assuming that I'm not completely snowed in. That is, but to enjoy that, that'd be cool. And hey, like I said, Wendy will be joining us. Johnny will be joining us. We'll all be watching it. It'll be cool.
This will be my second AEW pay-per-view. With the first one I saw, the first pay-per-view I ever saw with the first one they ever did. So it's been a long, long time.
Now, you were still back here, right? Or were you still in Japan?
No, I was still here. I was here for that. Because that's when when I got the new job, I probably saved up enough money, bought a TV, paid in full, all that other stuff. So that was pretty cool. And that was like one of the first things I downloaded, plus WWE Network and, the app on there. And and I was still bored of WWE even then. So I was bored for years.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, signing off here for this episode of the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, America's #1 cure for insomnia. And like we said, stay tuned because next week we'll give a review of the actual event and compare to see who was right and who was wrong. This is Mark Rodriguez here.
William White, a.k.a. Ninja Panda 1980, signing out.
あのね、フォルギアかな皆さん、フォルギアを見てください。And this is Jupi Chan signing out. Please watch Full Gear, and I'll see you later.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez signing out. It was a pleasure to be in this podcast, and I can't wait to watch this pay-per-view.
So everyone, quick, put the scissor up. Everyone. So we got the camera. Let's just end this episode. And sesame, daddy.
Oh, that was really bad. Uh,
Man, I was about to pull out some real scissors.
Yeah, Ricky probably feels bad he missed this one. Anyway, see y'all next time, guys.